Thank you very much, Paulette from Affinity.
Thank you for joining us today, and I hope to see you again at our future events.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation as the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we now stand and meet. We pay our respects to their elders, both past and present. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you very much for coming today. My name is Mary Crock and I'm Professor of Law at the University of Sydney. I've been there for about 23 years and more recently I've become a member of the Affinity Advisory Board. So it's my great honour today to tell you a little bit about Affinity. If you haven't been to one of our events before, if you don't know much about the organisation. Affinity was formed in the year 2000, by a group of young Muslim Australians, and their aim has been to promote multiculturalism and to foster intercultural and interfaith dialogue by building bridges between different groups in our society. And for any of you who know anything about me, that would explain why I'm on the board and why I've taken such a keen interest in the organisation. My task today is to introduce today's facilitator, Ricardo Goncalves. Ricardo is SBS Finance Editor, host of SBS Small Business Secrets program, and a regular SBS World News presenter. He joined SBS in early 2010 after 8 years as a business finance reporter and presenter with Sky News Business, where he anchored programs like Trading Day, Rates Reaction, In Business, IT, and the popular Market Moves. Ricardo has also worked as a general news reporter for 9 News Melbourne and produced for 7 News Sydney, starting work in metropolitan media, producing for financial journalist David Crock. He started his career in Wollongong, where he grew up, reporting for Win News, while he completed his Bachelor of Commerce in Marketing and Economics at the University of Wollongong. Ricardo's work has seen him interview virtually all of Australia's top 200 CEOs, business leaders and global financial identities. Highlights include interviews with Richard Branson, Malcolm Turnbull, Alan Joyce and the former Portuguese President Aníbal Cavaco Silva, just to name a few. Ricardo is also a heavy social media user, using Twitter, and it sounds dirty, doesn't it, when you say that? Twitter and Snapchat to distribute business and market news in a way that few of his contemporaries are. Please join me in welcoming Ricardo to the floor. Thank you.
Well, I'm delighted to introduce today's keynote speaker, Senator the Honourable Seselja, who is the Liberal Senator for the ACT, as well as the Assistant Minister for Social Services and Multicultural Affairs. Zed was born in Canberra to Croatian immigrant parents and was raised in the Tuggeranong Valley. And before entering politics, Zed studied arts and law at the Australian National University and then moved into the Commonwealth Public Service, working for the Department of Transport and Regional Services. And Zed was elected to the Australian Senate in September 2013, representing the Australian Capital Territory. And during his time in the Senate, Zed was appointed to a number of committees, including the Joint Standing Committee on the National Disability Insurance Scheme, the National Capital and External Territories, and the Senate Select Committee on Health. Zed was sworn in as Assistant Minister for Social Services and Multicultural Affairs in July 2016. He has a portfolio responsibility for multicultural affairs, settlement services, child protection, adoption and housing. Zed is also a Keep Watch Ambassador with the Royal Life Saving Society, an Ambassador for Focus ACT, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, Healthy Harold Life Education, Culture Break, a volunteer for St Vincent de Paul, and was a mentor for Men's Link. The title of the Senator's talk today is Multicultural Australia, United, Strong, Successful. And in March 2017, the Australian government released a new multicultural statement of the same title, which served to renew the government's commitment to a strong and prosperous multicultural Australia, as well as marking Australia as the most successful multicultural society in the world. And using this document, Senator Seselja will discuss how cultural diversity is one of our strongest assets and why we shouldn't take our harmony and prosperity for granted. He will also present the government's vision and priorities going forward for Australia as a strong and successful nation. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Senator Seselja to the floor.